Anthony Edwards lacing this step-back game winner capped off a crazy smash and grab win for the Minnesota Timberwolves in a game they trailed by 16 points with just under 5 minutes left. But while Ant's hero shot will get all the credit, it was a long overdue closing lineup adjustment that really won Minnesota this game. First off, Chris Finch pulled Jaden McDaniels and Mike Conley from the game, two guys who have had really disappointing seasons so far, with around 8 minutes left. McDaniels is a spacing nightmare who doesn't have the ball handling to facilitate a drive and kick offense, and that's hurting Minnesota's offense immensely this season, especially in fourth quarters. Now, Conley usually brings more value to the offense, but he wasn't impactful as a scorer, attacker, or defender in this game, which has become more of a regularity for the Wolves this season. With around 6 minutes left, the final piece of the comeback puzzle was benching Rudy Gobert. Gobert is often critical to Minnesota's wins, but he was being babied by Alperen Sengun all game, clanking free throws and fumbling the ball every time it came near him. When he's having one of those nights, he's just not worth the spacing issues that he causes offensively. So those guys needed to come out of the game, and what was left was this Alexander Walker, DiVincenzo, Edwards, Randall, and Reed lineup that can really thrive offensively and be a more creative defense as well. And right away you see the benefits of that. When Naz Reid sets this screen and pops out while two defenders go with Anthony Edwards on the ball, now the defense is in this situation where the lone man here is between two excellent shooters. He has to sell out to stop Naz Reid with the ball, and he can then drive and kick to Alexander Walker, who can sidestep away from a great defensive effort and still make looks like that consistently. And those guys aren't just more capable shooters than Gobert and McDaniels, they also have a considerably better floor game. Naz Reid is able to move quickly into dribble handoff actions, he's smoother at pivoting out of them and hitting this rolling lane, and Alexander Walker is more adept at drawing the helper away and making that wraparound pass to complete the possession. The problem with this lineup on paper is defense, but they did prove that they can negate some of that with ball pressure and with switching. So Alexander Walker is hounding at the point of attack to begin this possession, but he's also capable of switching this screen and doing enough against Jabari Smith to stop the drive and force a kick out, and then they're back into another switch with Edwards coming up and Naz Reid quickly jetting back to Sengun on the roll, and they end up forcing a heavily contested three late in the clock, and they just couldn't do that for most of this second half when their starters were on the floor. I mean, sometimes they just need something as simple as this. It's an out of bounds play, Naz Reid flares out and drills the quick trigger catch and shoot three, even with a hand in his face. Again, that's just something this offense lacks when McDaniels and Gobert are on the floor, especially in closing lineups. Or even when Sengun gets the better of this mismatch with Edwards, Reid can quickly outlet down the floor and get out in transition for a bucket and a foul at the rim. I think the worry without McDaniels out there is that you're going to be deficient defensively on the perimeter, but more and more we're seeing that DiVincenzo being able to get over screens like this against guards and stay with scorers like Jalen Green, then dropping under the re-screen to stay with him and once again dropping under that next screen and then poking away the pass makes him a viable option. He's not Jaden McDaniels defensively, but his ability to create off the bounce on the other end and Alexander Walker's ability to relocate like this to drain catch and shoot threes kind of feels like a pretty fair trade-off for a team that's starved of offense. And as I've been droning on about lately, a spread floor is an offense's best friend. So when Julius Randle uses his strength in the post to force a Sengun miss, this lineup can run off misses and stretch the defense. So Ant's gravity in transition draws the attention of two defenders, he spins it back to Randle, and when he attacks the closeout, defenders have to come off shooters. Reid does miss that good look in the corner, but gets the putback that this possession deserved, and you can only put the defense in rotation like that with a lineup that can pass, dribble, and shoot like this one. And that three-pronged level of attack can capitalize on misses so much easier. Not only is DiVincenzo getting into early offense here, but he's beating the slow-footed Şengün up the floor, so now Green has to switch off Devo onto Ant. He gets blown by, and it's Van Vliet at the rim instead of Şengün, and that's free food for a slashing Anthony Edwards. And even when Naz Reid fouls out and McDaniels comes back in the game, that same sort of quick-fire mentality with a spread floor carries over. It's really smart to use McDaniels here as the ball screener because you've still got three spaces commanding attention and all of this space for Randle to burst into and get an uncontested dunk. So yeah, it was Anthony Edwards' shot that comes off another Jaden McDaniels ball screen, but a possession that ultimately was well defended and a bit broken, but it was everything leading up to it that proved this Minnesota team has the pieces to play modern offense. They just need to be willing to flex their lineups a little more when the status quo isn't working. Thanks again for watching Howls and Growls, happy holidays, and please subscribe for more.